Cardi B have more than 15 minutes of fame?
That's a good question.
It seems like Cardi B has way more staying power than I could have possibly anticipated.
Can we talk about this on the pod?
This is the podcast. This is episode 68 of Blackmail material. Top of the order here. How long do you think Cardi B's got? I think at this point she's blown all my expectations out of the water. I think her meme game is adding to her longevity in an unprecedented way. I think the drama with Offset is also keeping the clout up. I think there's some sort of brilliant puppet master behind all this.
I mean, you got to think like she's tapped in. If her herself is not part of mainstream media, she's at least tapped into other people who are. And then think about just how far a controversy can get a person, i.e. the Kim Kardashian sex tape. You know, Cardi B involved with Offset like this. That's any publicity is good publicity, right? So it's
right.
It's
you have multiple rap dynasties, multiple like coasts of rap getting involved here. It seems almost manufactured in its level of brilliance.
It's too good.
I don't know. I think it's like once you stick around for X amount of time, I think you're going to like stick around for longer. You know what I mean?
I feel
Dave,
like,
tell me everything you know about Cardi B.
I know nothing about Cardi B.
You got to know something. What's her number one hit?
I've probably heard it because Christina likes Cardi B a lot. I don't know any of the names of fucking anything. Was Cardi B a stripper or something before she was a musician? I knew that.
Pretty good.
I know that she doesn't dance now. She makes money moves.
Yep, fantastic. Great.
Yeah.
What about the kicks, though? That's key.
You might need to fill me in, Kevin.
She's got red bottom shoes.
Oh, is there a reason behind that, or
because that means she's balling?
Oh, good to know.
I feel like the next logical step is she needs to make some sort of CBD brand or some sort of jewel collab. I feel like that's the next step in any celebrity thing. Like, this is the social influencer starter pack, sick memes, and some sort of jewel collab.
Do you think who's another person that could do the
Logan
thing
Paul
we were discussing last week? Oh God,
Logan Paul.
Finish what
vape juices.
Called vape juices.
Well, I was gonna say the thing that Kanye was doing with like he manufactured a hillside at Coachella. Like, if Cardi B did that, do you think it would be weird?
I think if she erected strip poles to the heaven in the middle of the Coachella desert, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. Like, it's like a mile tall.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
Yeah,
that'd actually be amazing.
That'd be
like
all right.
Hillsides are not really in Cardi B's playbook, but certain things are. So I think the stripper poles would be apt. But if she made a hillside and was like, "Pray to me," I think people would think that was weird.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'll admit, I still think the Kanye thing was a little weird. Like, looking back on it. Like, I get that it's him, but...
Well, who do we think is more in the mainstream right now? Ariana Grande or Cardi B? Because I've been hearing a lot about Ariana Grande lately, and she headlined Coachella, so...
Someone threw a lemon at her, so, that's key.
At Coachella?
Yeah, that's a good...
Yeah. Apparently someone threw a lemon wedge, which takes a lot of premeditation going on.
Just like...
The idea of going to a Ralph's and thinking, what kind of produce can I sneak into a music festival and will reach maximum impact? Also, was this person training for months to hit the shot?
Must have been. They either waited at that concert venue for hours in the front row, or...
They had to fight their way to the front row to throw this lemon. Or they're John Elway back there and they can just fuck it. They've had the tire hanging from a tree in their yard for months. They just have the bag of produce and a picture of Ariana back there. It's like, ooh, I'm going to get it.
They have a tire hanging in front of their compost pile. So every time I throw the lemon, it just goes straight to the compost pile. Just piles of lemons.
Right. I'm filled with hate, but I still love the earth. You know what I mean?
You got to be responsible.
I need to show Ariana what's up, but I can't harm Gaia. I have my priorities. They're not good, but I got them.
All right. So we've talked about the furnace party before, and it intrigued us.
It's come to pass.
I thought it was last week, but it happened this week. Dave was the only one privy to it. Yes. Dave, what happened? Please.
Well, I only had time to give a drive-by, unfortunately. I didn't have time to stop and celebrate our Lord and
Got
Savior, ABBA. But several hundred people arrived at a vacant lot on 27th and Girard in Brewerytown, Philadelphia yesterday.
Okay.
And just hung out. They set up food trucks, loudspeakers. The bar across the street from it was selling furnace-themed beer. They had a beer that was spicy, apparently, which I'll admit, not high on my list.
Spicy
that combination,
beer?
spicy beer, because it wanted to be evocative of falling into a steel furnace, which I understand. People came dressed in welder's gear. Some dude was walking around with a straight-up biohazard suit. I don't get that.
Why do you have that for recreation?
I know, right? And there was a guy that came dressed with like a little cardboard bulldozer or something, like hanging off of him, because it said in the letter, it's like, what we need is a bulldozer for like this construction.
Did someone go through the fucking subway in a cardboard bulldozer?
I fucking hope they did.
Yep.
Fantastic.
This right here on the Philadelphia Voices live tweet stream of it, this guy made a bulldozer costume. And he said he will attend with a group of friends and a drinking chaperone who responded to his Craigslist ad.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Wait, that was that guy?
Oh, man.
Yo, putting up is that a common thing? A Craigslist post for a drinking chaperone?
I don't think so, but looking at the picture, he had a clipboard and this like Excel printed document, and every hour there's 10 things that the drinking chaperone must check off. Still present, still standing, still conscious, has phone, wallet, and keys, not smoking, not being obnoxious, and not injured.
Wow,
Yes.
This is weirdly formal. I did hear that
That
guy
sounds
was
very comforting, actually.
great.
He required your resume. I do know that. I remember seeing the post about that where he was like, "I'm going to need your resume," and they did fill the position. So
I want Vin Diesel to be my drinking
the gig
chaperone.
economy is real.
Real
so
and strange.
There's that. How is there no app for that? God, Jack,
That's
get on
not
it. Let's
the
be
worst
rich.
idea for an app, actually.
Yeah, let's. I can't help you.
Okay,
but
so the
let's
deal
do
with
it.
the furnace party was that allegedly what happened was the note was written by this older woman, and ABBA was the nickname for her neighbor. And
Yeah, there's a crazy guy in the
Okay.
Brewerytown neighborhood.
but then, do you understand why was it so strange? What was the letter meant to mean? Did we ever figure that out?
Oh, well, apparently it's like, imagine you live in a place, and you live in New York, so
do.
you live in a place. So, yeah, it's a real place. New York's real.
Yep.
It's not fake. Imagine there's a guy in your neighborhood. We've all had this. Like, I live near meth heads. Like, imagine, like, the crazy person in your neighborhood who just says crazy shit all the time and has never used a computer. Imagine one of your neighbors gets fed up and just humors him and dictates his crazy rantings into a letter.
Okay.
That's what they claim happened. And then they claim they gave it to some students who printed it all out and then passed it around the neighborhood and put it in under people's doors. So that's what they said was true. And they said they like talked to reporters about it. Like they were like, we were the people. There's like, this is whoever, and this is ABBA, who is like this crazy old. He was like some guy in his 60s in a wheelchair. So then she came with the letter framed and was saying that she was trying to sell it for $200, the original letter. Right? So they were, and then some people think that they were scammers and that the real guy showed up to the furnace party separate from them.
Incognito.
And then didn't come by. Because they don't match the descriptions, because there's surveillance camera footage of the people who put the papers in the doors and in mailboxes.
Smart.
Right? And they don't match the description or look like the guy that did it at all.
This is great.
So
there's a whole like CSI
the
mystery.
Plot is
This is
thickened.
I need this to happen
party.
every year in Philadelphia now, and it just becomes this urban legend.
Oh, I think
hope
it's
so.
going
Oh my
to.
gosh.
I hope it goes on for hundreds of years. Like, it's just like the stupidest thing. Because crazy shit happens in crazy street shit, like parties happen in Philly a lot. Like the fucking Bastille Day thing, which unfortunately is no longer happening. But like,
Philadelphians are willing
wacky
to
shit
run
happens
with
in
it.
Philly.
in a way that is unparalleled, I think.
Get really into it.
Yeah.
In terms of embracing memes.
I'm sorry, Kevin. When was the last time you were so excited you ate shit off the ground? Like,
I got rowdy at the Dave & Buster's. It was a bad scene.
Yeah.
I just I love it.
So about 200 people showed up, and like someone set up like speakers at a little like tent, and they were like blasting ABBA music.
Love it.
Fantastic.
And they had a dance party.
Thank God.
And then I do know at one point at exactly noon they played the text from the letter.
Love it.
Like they like spoke it into a microphone, and everyone like said it like some sort of insane chant.
This is the spookiest cult.
I love it.
Oh my God. There was like 300 people there.
It's going to turn into like a 300-page leather-bound tome. It'll be a weird Bible.
And there's only one of them.
Yeah.
And every year somebody gets up on a podium and opens the leather-bound book to read this letter.
Yeah. The thing about Philadelphians is we are known in recent history to follow the rantings of crazy illiterate people and form them into cults. That's actually what the Move group, that's what started it. Was the leader was a guy who was completely illiterate, and it was the rantings of a crazy person, and it turned into a cult commune.
Elron could do this, so can I.
Yeah. So, I mean, it didn't end great in the Move situation, because the Philadelphia Police Department ended up bombing their own city. But
I want to talk about that.
Yeah. Weird shit happens in Philly, is all I'm saying. I hope it happens every year in that vacant lot.
I love how we've witnessed this event grow from nothing into something. You know, we talked about it on the pod at like 2 months ago, just this letter. And then, you know, now the subreddit has thousands of followers and this event happened. It's just like we've witnessed start to end the way new events are made in this day and age. This is how it works.
Yeah, there's someone who was selling shirts that said Fireness, but it was spelled with a Y, so it looked like and it was in the Fire Festival font.
That's pretty sick.
And it had a little flame, and like, God, I want one so bad because they actually look pretty fucking great, and it's like the most inside joke ever.
Yes.
Yeah. Confusing a lot of people at the airports.
So Christina and I were talking about in the car.
A good place to talk about this topic.
Yes. She has a running joke that I'm cheating on her with the girl that voices Waze. Which is like an inside joke for us, and isn't actually that funny. Yeah. But
totally been there.
About how
right.
Yeah, I know.
My cyber affairs.
Yeah. The cyber affairs. I was like trying to think of like who would be the best and worst people to voice a GPS.
DMX.
Like, who would I never want to hear?
I'm not trying to get hyped up.
As your best or worst?
Oh, absolutely the best.
Get there fast.
Oh, that's fair. I honestly couldn't think of who I would hate, like, to have.
Truman Capote.
I know there's like a lot of bad answers.
Turn right. I think Cookie Monster would be a good GPS voice. I think that's a solid. Why do I like such grizzled voices?
I felt James Franco doing the Tommy Wiseau voice would not be great.
Ooh, Alien from Spring Breakers would be all right.
Yeah.
He would just tell you
best and worst of the James Franco spectrum.
The Franco-verse is strong.
Or riffraff even. Just straight up riffraff normally.
Just go right to the source. Yeah, I don't know. Do you ever notice that James Franco, I feel like he knows how weird, like his whole persona is about being weird as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? He has a cameo on 30 Rock, and the whole thing about like him playing himself on 30 Rock is that he's like in love with his body pillow or something. Like, James Franco's just weird as fuck, and he knows it.
I think the weirdest Hollywood persona is Jake Gyllenhaal, where he has just embraced I'm the creepy-looking guy.
Ever since.
I feel like it started with Nightcrawler, and then he has just embraced that he looks like some kind of slimy scumbag forever.
What about, oh my god, who's the actor from Transformers?
Shia?
Shia LaBeouf. Like, what the fuck happened to him?
He turned into a weird avant-garde artist that I really appreciate.
I mean, I do appreciate it. Yeah, it's just like really funny.
Yeah, his antics are next level.
What was it? He live streamed himself, just his face while he watched all of the movies he was in.
Yeah,
I love it
in a row.
I love it so much. Like
a lot of good gifs.
If you were rich, if I was rich and I had all this money, I didn't have to work anymore. Like I would just do all the crazy ideas that popped in my head, like he's doing.
Curmudgeon-y crazy person,
but with money.
Do you guys know the story of Shia LaBeouf and his protest flag?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, what was it? Radiolab did a podcast about this.
I don't want to give credit to the people that are harassing Shia LaBeouf.
It's impressive,
but it is really funny the amount of work that. Yeah, it's impressive.
I feel like we've
the amount of work that they
this.
put into it.
The unharnessed power of internet antagonism.
Yeah, it scares me. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah, it's a potent force.
There's always some really bored, really smart people out there, and they're a problem. You know, what's the phrase? Like idle hands or the devil's workshop.
Yeah.
I don't want the people can look at a video, and then judging by the flight paths of planes in the sky and the weather on the video, can figure out the relatively close position of a flag.
Mm-hmm.
That bothers me. That someone
Doesn't
can figure
give me
that
any
shit
hope
out.
For privacy, if like the FBI is trying to track me down, like I'm just fucked. There's no escape. You can't hide at all.
I think you can hide. I ponder about this a lot. I think you
going
can
off
hide.
the grid.
I think you could do it. Like step one, just don't have your phone. Get a bunch of cash. Like as long as start with phone and just cash, obviously, right? And I think you can get off the grid, but I think you know how there's some things where it's like the first 90% of some really hard tests is actually quite easy, but it's the last 10% that's gruelingly hard, right? I think it's like that. I think getting 90% of the way off the grid is actually easier than you'd think, but the last 10% is hard as fuck, right? Like if you wanted to go to a place where you wouldn't be found, you could drive or whatever to get close to it, but then you'd have to walk a while, you know?
I think you would have to be really lucky finding sketchy landlords that take just cash and don't ask any questions.
See, I'm more imagining a Ted Kaczynski cabin situation. Like, you know, if you're way out in Central Oregon or like Northern Michigan or some like fucking thing like that, you know? It's like I'm somewhere in northwestern Wisconsin. Like there's no they're unlikely to find me.
I was more with the on Kevin's wavelength. I was thinking like I'm gonna have to switch my identity. I'm gonna have to get a credit card.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get on a plane, fly to some country, and then just basically take buses or hitchhike until I'm somewhere in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Well, could we use technology? Could we use the dark web to purchase someone's identity and then I'm just, I'm just a dead man walking, and I just use his credit card.
I think that might be.
And then I'm just in Alaska or something.
You just have to, you depend on that link not being found out, you know?
The real question is, how is Tekashi 6ix9ine going into witness protection?
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't matter where you put this dude.
His fucking face.
Unless he's some sort of, obscure island.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's going into witness protection. God, just send that motherfucker to jail, please.
He has to be in the island of Tarawa in the middle of the Pacific for it to be any form of it. Yeah.
He's in the Pacific garbage patch.
He has to be on some relatively intact bunker on Iwo Jima with all the doors sealed.
Tekashi 6ix9ine was actually the first man to go into space in decades as the United States has rushed their space program.
NASA made a special trip
to find a willing test participant.
Yeah, turns out there was someone on that Falcon Heavy that they launched.
The scum gang is going intergalactic.
Yeah, when they launched the Tesla Roadster with the spacesuit, and it turns out it was Tekashi 6ix9ine in the suit.
He is not the first person I would make for humanity ambassador. For alien contact. I feel like that would probably be probably the worst.
I mean, I guess I could give him more tattoos, right?
I mean, it's pretty dense, especially in the face area. I mean, oh god, it's got.
Well, can't you like cover up other tattoos?
Sure, I guess you just put stickers on stickers. I guess
it's makeup.
Man, oh man,
I don't know.
I mean, yeah. I think if you did a lot, you could probably make it almost effective, but really not at all. Like, because is he gonna work as like some store, like a 7-Eleven clerk?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And it's like, hey, are you Tekashi 6ix9ine? Be like, what? No.
I'm his biggest fan.
You're big into Scum Gang. Treyway
Gang.
He's actually an HR manager. He's a shift manager at the Applebee's.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't even know how witness protection, like, it seems like it must be a colossal undertaking.
Yeah.
To do it for anyone.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, all I know about witness protection is what I know from Goodfellas. And it just seems like you change your identity completely, and then you have to move somewhere where nobody knows you.
You're just in a trailer park, I assume?
Or like a housing development in suburbia or something. Because as long as nobody knows you, hasn't seen your face, then you can just say you're somebody else, and that's it. And you have all the documents to prove it.
They might have you make like a full fake social media thing now.
Interesting.
I'm actually curious how it works. Because that was a thing. I know they check now. Apparently, when they do immigration, if you come from countries that are more questionable, they actually check your social media.
Yeah, I heard about that.
To see like if you were in ISIS or something. They actually check it.
I heard about that.
Just curious.
Yeah, I guess the funny thing about that is that if you were to keep any... Okay, so browsers fingerprint a lot of things, like your scrolling patterns, the size of your screen, with all these like embedded little trackers. So even if you dropped off the grid and you deleted all your social media or didn't use your social media anymore, I'm fairly certain that ad tracking algorithms would still find you and link you with your old profile by all these unique metrics that they keep. So, like, here's the thing: even with
his Pornhub scroll habits are exactly the same.
Like,
we've got them.
If you go into incognito mode and the browser or the websites aren't keeping cookies, they know the size of your screen. They know how you scroll, where your mouse moves, like little tiny identifiers. And by putting all of those together, they can just continue to overlap until you're the only one who meets all that criteria, and they can still find you.
So it's like the NSA metadata.
Just overlap so much metadata until
crazy.
It's only like possibly you. Isn't that ridiculous?
That's cool. If you use Tor, does all that stuff?
You'd have to.
Work?
Yeah, it would. The fingerprinting would, because it's your computer. So you'd have to change things about your computer. You'd have to use a different computer. You wouldn't want to use the same computer because it would.
So using your phone.
You probably shouldn't use your phone. Yeah, but you'd have to
use only library computers.
Like, spoof a lot of things. Yeah, you'd have to use like public computers or something.
I wonder how hard it is to fuck with that. Like, how many changes would you have to make to like fuck with that algorithm to the point where it can't really identify you anymore? You know what I mean? Like, if you intend to do it, that actually be a curious experiment.
Yeah, I'd be interesting.
God, this is actually way more terrifying than I ever could have anticipated.
It's fucking nuts. You think cookies are the only thing?
So everyone,
I like how casually,
it's just like fingerprint level of just individuality. Jesus.
I like how casually Jack dropped that fact.
I didn't even know this was common knowledge. Yeah.
Right, like, we all know that we're being tracked, right? And if they wanted to hunt us down, they could. But I didn't realize how fine-tuned the tracking data would be. I should have anticipated that, but... Oh, my God.
I have to read it more on that, and we can talk about that more because, I just have a cursory understanding of that sort of stuff.
We just need to know that you shattered your eardrums.
This concert was ridiculous. It's such an interesting. We can talk about metal? Briefly. Yeah, so drone metal is this type of metal. It's known for really long, drawn out notes, and a very continuous song. So it's just like they'll play like one note and it'll kind of reverberate and happen for 5-10 seconds, then another note plays again, and they sort of they get an overlapping of these long drawn out notes, and you're supposed to kind of get into it and sort of lose yourself in the drone of the guitar sounds.
You get in a trance.
Yeah. And the thing with Sun O is that they're known for having the loudest concerts in the world. And it's just...
So...
Go ahead.
No, so it's more than like, I think it was The Who had like the Wall of Sound or something in like the 70s. It's like way more than that.
It's a very similar thing, but just way taken up a notch. So they have these like 15 like 6-foot tall amplifiers, speakers, 6-foot tall speakers just in a semicircle around the stage. The stage is just these human-sized speakers. Then they have on top of each of the speakers, they have these like 2-foot tall tube amps, like really old school tube amps on top of all these speakers. And that's their stage. And it's not so much that you hear the music as you just experience sound waves like hitting you from all directions. Your body is vibrating.
I feel
your body
that.
is vibrating the whole time.
Is it weird that I missed the Excision concert that we went to where it felt like the bass was literally punching us?
No.
It felt like I was being like pummeled via sound somehow.
I don't think that's weird at
Whatever
all.
frequency it was on, like that was kind of cool. I was very scared for my heart, but at the same time, I was sort of mystified that sound could do that to you.
Absolutely not weird that you missed that. It is such a cool experience.
It's weirdly invigorating.
Yeah. It reminds me of I went to a deaf college, and like when you would go to like parties from people who were like hard of hearing or deaf, they like it was so fucking loud.
The dankest
because like
bass.
it's not good. It's like you're not gonna get any more completely deaf. But their whole thing was, and it was like right when dubstep was really big too. So it's just like, imagine the loudest dubstep you ever heard. Like you would get moved. It felt like you were getting pushed away.
What a magical
by, like,
convergence
Love that.
to be at that apex of dubstep
and
culture.
They would just like claw onto the speaker. Like they'd be against the speaker from like the loudest dubstep, like the bassiest thing you've ever heard.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
I'm starting a sound therapy bar. I put you into a like Iron Maiden full of speakers, and I just blast your bones to dust.
Yes, that sounds so amazing. But
well, will we charge anything, or will we just tell people to text us $10?
You just need to sign this iPad saying that you will not sue us once I am done blasting Skrillex into your veins.
So the thing with this concert was you could tell, because if you had read anything about it, you need to bring earplugs to this concert, and you could tell. I was prepared. I was actually nervous to go.
Did you ever contemplate just taking out one of them and then just seeing what the full blast would be like?
No, and I didn't. And the reason is because when it started, you could see the people who weren't prepared because they instantly just like grabbed their ears. And I was just like,
instant regret.
And then, they would eventually kind of put their hands down slowly, and their ears started to like fatigue or whatever, and they could do it without it. But then towards the end, you could see the people who are really struggling. They were like rubbing their ears. People were leaving. Leaving the concert because they couldn't stand it anymore.
They thought, how bad could it be? And it turns out very bad.
You could really tell. The other thing is that with drone metal, you don't do anything at the concert. You don't headbang. You don't head bob. There is no beat. It's just notes.
You don't headbang really slowly?
It's way too slow. It's like the notes are 10 seconds long. Like, it's just a crowd of people standing completely still.
That sounds like it has really weird energy.
It had the most strange energy ever. And
that sounds so tense.
So it's 20 minutes before the show happens, they just start pumping smoke into the venue. Like, this is not a small venue. They start pumping smoke 20 minutes before it starts.
Get Snoop Dogg on the phone.
So the stage just disappears. You can't see the stage anymore. And then rows of people start disappearing. Then I can't see the first row of people. Then I lose like the first 10 rows of people in the smoke. I can't see anything.
That sounds amazing.
And then, so you can't see them walk on stage, but then you just hear one dude like hit a note, and it just like vroom. and the whole venue just vibrates. And you can't hear them. And then it's like slowly the smoke starts to clear a little bit, and all 5 of them are in these full-length black robes. It's like they're walking, like, imagine like a graveyard. And instead of tombstones, it's these human-sized tombstone speakers. And it's just like they're walking in a misty graveyard, and they're just like smashing these ridiculous notes on their guitar. And they're dressed like fucking Gregorian priests.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture right now, and it's funny to me that they have the monitor speakers pointed back at them.
They have as many they have more speakers. They have speakers pointed at them too. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's just like, yeah, and like it seems hard to fuck it up if you're doing one note every 10 seconds. I was surprised to see that this is. I didn't realize that they're playing it like on guitars and real instruments. I thought it would have been like a DJ'd thing or something.
Yeah, that's the cool thing. It's just like it's guitars, and it's modulated guitars, and they're all so into it. And because they don't play a lot of notes, they make every single time they hit a note very epic. And so they would move super slowly. All of them were very into it. Every one of them was moving so slowly, and they would lift their guitars above their heads and then kind of smash a note down. And they would do it all really slowly all the time, and they would like lay on their back on the stage and then just smash a note. And they would sort of, when they would hit a note, they would pump the venue full of smoke. And so it was the most epic way you could hit a single note on a guitar, is just like holding the guitar above your head, smashing the note down, and then just all the smoke.
This sounds like one of those musical genres that only makes sense in a live venue, because I feel like you could not replicate this with headphones or speakers in your home.
You'd have to have some serious hardware.
I feel like I've tried listening to this drone metal before, and I get completely bored. But I feel like if they were this all-encompassing 360 experience, it would make some more sense.
I think so.
Yeah, I can't imagine driving down the highway in your car to work, listening to this. I feel like it wouldn't give you that, like, I think you'd probably be missing something.
It wouldn't be the way at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's experience.
I don't know why. It sounds very, like, weird underground stuff. It kind of reminds me of a band called Boards of Canada a little bit, in a completely different way. I don't know.
Yeah, Boards of Canada is another classic.
I do love Boards of Canada, and I was reading about them, about how... Do you know about the Boards of Canada Old Tunes cassette thing?
No.
Do you know about that? There's like... before they were really big, they had these 2 unofficial audio cassette tapes of like their first songs that they ever did, and like they're pretty much lost to time. And they had others too that they had made, which are truly lost to time. Like no one knows where they are. And every couple of years, people put on like a message board that they have it, and it's completely fake. Like people keep like faking these like inauthentic recordings of old Boards of Canada songs.
Huh.
Really weird.
That's weird.
I know.
Oh.
Sun O is old.
They are.
They're almost 20 years old.
They started in the early 90s in Seattle.
Late, 98.
And they're all, the other thing is they're old dudes. They, at the end, they sort of took off their hoods so you could see them. They're like 40, 50 years old. And I wish I could continue to do stuff like this when I'm that old, Like the dude had like this gray beard. Oh man. And I think
it's sort of inspiring to know that this guy did not have to live a normal life. He just willed it into existence, that he would be this sort of weird dark metal wizard who fucks people's ears up, and that's his existence.
That is actually exactly what I thought. I was actually so happy to see that. I was like, you don't have to live like everybody else, You can forge your own path.
It's hard to imagine him like in the grocery store picking up hot dogs.
It's like, what do you wear? I don't know what those guys wear. They were just wearing black robes. I don't know. What's their normal wear?
I want to imagine that's just 24/7.
Where do you get that?
I don't know.
Where do you just get robes?
It looked like it was bespoke. They all look really... It wasn't like they were costume robes either. They had like ties on them and buttons, and looked like a legitimate thing.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it was. They're all so into it. It was very cool.
All right, should we bring it from the internet?
Let's bring it from the internet.
Yeah, so I've been getting into watching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu videos lately. I think this is just another another like symptom of watching too much Joe Rogan lately. But yeah, I've been watching this guy named Keenan Cornelius, and he does a thing where it's a 40-minute video where he's doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he's literally narrating in real time what he's doing. So he'll talk about like, oh, I'm going for this like collar choke here, and then this person's going to flip over. Well, he's based too far, so now I'm going to flip him over like this. And he's doing these like crazy athletic jiu-jitsu moves while talking in a super calm voice. Whoa. And as someone who's like tangentially interested in martial arts, it's sort of a weird meditative video that's fun to watch if you're into that kind of thing.
Is he the guy with the hair or the bald guy?
He is the dude with the hair. Very he's that dude with the hair.
That's cool. I really like those types of things where you can get in the mind of like an expert and they're talking through.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Their ability to talk through like that is also very impressive, you know?
I think that's more what it is seeing someone who's just at the apex of their game, just talking about it. And as someone who has done a little bit of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like, and knowing how difficult it is, I think it adds to that appeal for me.
It does look way more difficult. Well, it just seems so athletic. Like, it's so physical. Like, I would be out of breath in 10 seconds.
It did make me want to ask my parents on the phone, hey, can you ship me my gi that's in a cardboard box so I can start throwing down again? And just the idea that I walk into there, it's just like, I'm ready to roll. Even though I almost certainly get grounded to dust by some like 16-year-old who's like half my weight.
To dust for a good couple of years.
Yeah.
First comment, it's like watching a Bob Ross PBS painting video. And over here you got a nice happy triangle, maybe a knee on the belly. And over here you got a fluffy cross collar choke.
He's a very interesting dude. I think he reminds me also of like Alex Honnold, where this guy is doing something super duper out of the ordinary, but he's super low key about it.
Oh. All right, Dave, what do we got here?
So I started, I had heard of this podcast and I hadn't listened to it for a while, but have you guys heard of the podcast Sawbones?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Do you listen to it?
No,
Kevin?
It's adjacent to the McElroy family, so I've listened to it very, very sporadically.
Yeah, so it's one of the McElroy brothers. Is it the main guy? Whatever it is.
The eldest.
His wife.
Yeah.
His wife is a doctor. And they just go through dumb shit that people do for medical things. Like, and they just like break down the dumbass logic.
Like they talked about leeches for a while.
Yeah. Well, they talked about a lot of like the anti-vaxxer stuff, and they go through. There's a great episode where they go through like people's routines, like fake health nut routines. Like one guy who he starts every day by he says he has mycotoxic free coffee, and he shoots a light in his ear to charge his energy.
What?
Yeah, that sounds legit.
And then the best is there's one woman that she says she grounds herself to the earth by walking around barefoot every morning and then stares into the sun for 20 minutes.
What?
I'm like, no!
Oh, goodness. That is not... That's not what I expected. Okay.
It's just them breaking down dumb science. But what's weird is there's an episode that's tangentially about someone that... It's actually where I work, where they do all this like vaccine research. And there's this guy named Maurice Hilleman, and they have an episode about him that's really fascinating. And I know a little bit about him, but it's like basically like one of these people where like millions and millions of people that are walking around only exist because he's like did his research, but like no one knows about him because he was very big on not taking a lot of credit for stuff. It was a very interesting episode, but you should listen to Sawbones. It's fucking hilarious because people are so
Sounds pretty
stupid.
good, actually, looking at some of these.
It is really good.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check it out.
Yeah, the MMR one is great, and the routines one
So
is
if I were to
fantastic.
take one episode and start with it, which would you recommend?
I would do the routines.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find what it's... I forget what it's called, but it's about people's
All right, I'll link it in the show notes when
routines.
When we find it. Okay, so my came from the internet. David Lama, he's an Austrian climber, I believe. He has a great YouTube channel. It only has 4 videos, but they're sort of like Have you ever seen the documentary Meru or any of the sort of like alpinist climbing docs? He makes these videos on YouTube, and he has a YouTube channel. So his deal is he's like a prodigy climber. He won like the European bouldering championships and the European lead climbing championships in like the early 2000s. And then he did a couple first ascents of these mountains in the Himalayas and such. And yeah, he makes these great videos. I guess the reason I'm bringing it up now is because he died last week in an avalanche accident. And he posted a video one day before he died, which is like a compilation of all of his climbing feats and such. So it's sad. His YouTube channel is not going to get updated anymore, but I will say the 4 videos that he has on there are very good. Sort of like mini docs about climbing mountains.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that was wild.
He's a really interesting guy. Yeah, it was wild. Like literally one day before he died in an avalanche, he posted a compilation video that was titled "Looking Back to Move Forward." So sad.
I clicked on that video, and within 6 seconds, my immediate reaction is, "Oh fuck this!" Just looking at the first 6 seconds of this video, maybe just that horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach of like aversion to heights. Holy shit!
Yeah. Are you a scared of heights guy?
I'm not like debilitatingly scared of it. Like I've done hikes and I'll do top rope stuff, but just seeing how snowy this mountain is and thinking about how difficult it would be and how precarious that situation would be is fear-inducing.
Yeah. You know what's weird? I'm only afraid of heights at like 8 feet. Like if I'm on like a ladder indoors and it's like I worry about like falling and like breaking my neck or something.
Yeah.
A lot. But like really high heights I'm like completely fine.
I mean, yeah.
Like I leaned out of like a helicopter and like take like biplane rides and I'm like fine with that. But like can't do like 8 feet off the ground.
That seems strange that you are more, I mean, on a practical level, to get real morbid, like if I fall off a like Sears Tower, right? If I fell out of that glass floor, I'm donezo, but I'm not going to feel it. But if it's 8 feet and I fall backwards for some reason, I most certainly would be in excruciating pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more the fear of being wounded than just being dead
like
on that
being
front.
paralyzed.
I don't know how, dude. Skydiving, hanging out of a helicopter, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't done skydiving yet. I do want to.
Well, if you do decide to skydive, maybe consider putting on Blackmail material as you're going up. Give you some confidence that, if your skydive is going to be a train wreck, it's not going to be as bad as the episode you just listened to. So throw that shit on. And then follow us on Twitter.
Take that, trains.
Follow us on Twitter. Be the second person to leave us a review. Tweet at...
We'll field any comments.
But tweet at Willie C and tell him you appreciate him. Thanks for listening. It's been episode 68. Peace.
68.
Later.
Bye.